Ratio Christi has a vision to change the culture. We want to change the world through the reason of Christ. As thoughtful Christians, we begin upstream in the universities seeking to address and overcome initial obstacles, providing persuasive reasons for faith. We present the gospel, and then, if done right, this strategy of transforming lives upstream has a dramatic payoff, changing culture downstream. Lives are transformed in the universities in a holistic, integrated way with cultural benefit, including better soil for gospel presentation. This means that we need to see every aspect of life as subject to Christ, not just the moral component. Rather than having a disintegrated life, a compartmentalized life, we want to see apprentices of Jesus flourish in lives of integrity, integrating faith and reason, faith and life, faith and vocation. We need to explore the relationship of Christ and culture and subvert the notion of an occupation in favor of a vocation, a job in favor of a calling. Apprentices of Jesus need to see Christ as relevant to all of life, every square inch, as the statesman Abraham Kuyper once said. And this includes transforming the disciplines with a view of God's redemptive missional perspective. Jesus didn't come simply so that we would have greater morality. The Apostle Paul said, "Whatever you do, whether you eat or drink, do all to the glory of God." And this includes how we spend money, what it looks like to be a Christian engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, homemaker, political leader, artist, journalist, etc. This is not a theocracy like the Old Testament, but a Christ-based culture is a game changer, including creating a culture suitable for gospel presentation. The gospel is never presented in a vacuum. It is presented in the backdrop of the cultural milieu in which it takes place. J. Gresham Machen, the great Princeton theologian, once quipped, "False ideas are the greatest obstacles to the reception of the gospel." The Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians 10:3-4, "We take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ." For example, if naturalism is true, the view that nature is all that is, was, or ever will be, then it follows that miracles are not simply incredible, they are impossible. So long as the dominant perspective in culture is naturalistic, then the gospel will simply fall on deaf ears. We must make the case for the intellectual plausibility of Christianity and infuse it throughout the system with Christianity latent in every field. Furthermore, many don't simply reject its being true, but also its being good. So making the case for its goodness is also imperative. This means providing a cultural apologetic. For example, Christianity serves as the ground for so many things that we take for granted, that we think are desirable as cultural goods. Some examples would be a classical liberal democracy, capitalism that has freed so many from poverty, the rise of the sciences, free speech and conscience, the hospital and compassion movement, and education, including the very universities being used to subvert Christianity. It has and will provide the foundations for a good civilization. Finally, not only do we want people to see Christianity as plausible, we need to be cultural makers and shapers for the good by helping people find and sustain a developed Christian world and life view. Christ in culture makes a difference. Christ transforms culture. These are some of the reasons we focus on changing the culture. When culture corrupts, we need to be countercultural, even revolutionary in the way of Jesus. Help us promote the reason of Christ, Ratio Christi.